This whole courthouse is like a big family, truly. But Richard was a leading member of the family. Had been mayor for 30 years. He knew everybody. I've known Richard since my father was at Anderson College and he called basketball games there. I loved him. We all loved him. We love Rochelle, his wife. I've known her just as long. And it's hard to talk about him. This courthouse is going to miss him greatly, but Anderson and the Anderson community is going to miss him even more. Anderson is a better place. You can just walk down the street, and it's because of Richard Shirley. And he came into this job knowing nothing and learned it and did it great and was fun and funny and sweet and said he loved you when he left. And the last words he said Thursday. Stuck his head in the door and said, "I love you." And, you know, we're all going to miss him.
In our state, we have had a number of people who have been replaced. In our community, we've had a number of people who have been replaced. Very few people are irreplaceable. Richard Shirley is irreplaceable. He was the epitome of a Southern gentleman to everyone. He was on the city council when he was a young man. I think he was 23. He progressed from there, along with his friend Tommy Dunaway, to be mayor of the city of Anderson. And through his guidance and direction and the things that he was able to do, he led Anderson County to be one of the premier communities in this state. And he truly brought the clerk of court's office, the courts of our state, into the top tier of justice in the state of South Carolina.
Richard has given everything to make our court a place where you feel invited when you go in. When he saw me at the end of the day, as he said to Cordell and me every day, "Love you, brother." He loved his football. He loved the courthouse. And he said every time a jury came in, he made the same speech, welcoming them, telling them about all the judges that work in our circuit, what they've done, how he loves Anderson County.
To have a somber event and mention Richard Shirley's name in it, it just doesn't connect. And I guess that's why I loved him, and I think that's why he loved all of us in the bar. And he loved his city, and he wanted the city to become the city that it has become. And I think as we look back at the successes we have to recognize Richard as being the driving force.
Mr. Shirley has always been a dedicated and faithful public servant and has been a friend to all of us in the family court. It seems like he almost always had a smile on his face and a friendly word to speak. We already miss him greatly and will hold his family and his friends in our prayers. Sincerely, David Phillips, Karen Ballinger, and Scott McLennan.
In the early 70s, when my family moved to Anderson, one of the first people I met was a skinny kid working part-time down at Walters and Hillman in downtown. Over the next 4 decades, we became dear friends. He gave me a loan to buy my first film camera. Later, it was his help that allowed us to build our first home. And later, against his better judgment, he gave me a loan for a Harley Davidson. Looking back, I covered most of Richard's adventures. In fact, in over 5 decades, I've done more stories on Richard Shirley than anybody else. Today, Richard is looking down on these proceedings, I believe, with a front row seat. But by now, Richard is saying, "Come on, guys, enough is enough." My foursome tees off in 45 minutes. So let's not keep our clerk of court waiting.